Hello Malaysians, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much. Uh, for today's video, I would like to postulate an interesting position with regards to what's happening within these past few days and even few weeks with regard to certain Malay political parties or Malay-based political parties. Now, two things have happened. The first one was that the two young Malay politicians, one Saiful and one Fayshal, both of Persatu or PPPM, was being one was actually sacked and the other was suspended. Now, this is of course the internal rife between Hamzah Zainuddin and Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin has Azmin and Hamzah Zainuddin has these other young people. So that puts in a very interesting position because we now have six young Malay political leaders who are all, to me, a bit more progressive in their thinking rather than the conservative Islam type, as well as the Malay supremacy race type, which is usually associated with the older generation like Zahid Hamidi and Anwar Ibrahim. And so we have this new or these young six leaders. And who are these young people? Of course, I'm talking about Rafizi Ramli, Nick Nazmi, and Shahril, as well as Khairy Jamaluddin. Now, the other interesting news is that there is talk that Khairy Jamaluddin would rejoin UMNO, and I've always thought that that would happen because Khairy did not seem to change much from his UMNO stand, even though he gets to be more popular and seem to be able to speak on a wide range of issues. Nevertheless, one of the things that we Malaysians need to understand about Malay politics is that only a Malay based political party can actually reform or teach the Malays into a new understanding of themselves. So one question some people might ask is that why must you need form a new Malay party when there are so many others? Secondly, why can't we have a mixed race party to reflect Malaysia? Now, I have always thought that a new mixed race party is the way, like PKR. But reality on the ground shows that the Malays, whether you are a professor in a university or a person selling nasi lemak, both are the same in the sense that they would still prefer a Malay-based political party. And so that is where the attraction of UMNO and also now Parti Islam Malaysia have become to many of the Malays. Those who are more race-based would support UMNO. Those who are more Islamic conservative type would prefer Parti Islam Malaysia now. So that is the situation on the ground, and that is the reality that many people need to accept. Now, I was one of those who think that once a Malay is educated, become something like a professor, then they would use their position to change the mindset of Malays to be more progressive. Yeah, they can be Islamic, but Islamic in the sense of more being progressive, but it doesn't happen. Most of these Malay professors or academics or corporate figures, they have more money, they travel more, they able to speak many languages, English in a very good manner, but still because of their non-education in politics with regard to their own understanding of what Malaysia stands for and is capable of, then they would always come back to Malay safe haven, or the idea of a tempurung mindset So this is where we are at, and it's a reality that is sad, but something that we need to accept. Now, the other thing is that I found in following politics for 25 years is that it's okay to have a Malay-based party. Then you need to work with other parties. But then the Malay-based parties need to be more prominent, because if it is somebody else like the AP, it will be a rebellion among the Malay people who form the majority, and then there would of course be reluctance on the military, the police, and the civil servant, who comprises 80% easily of the Malay people. So there you have the reality on the ground. And I was hoping that actually UMNO would change its narrative towards something to be more progressive, like the days of On Jaafar and Tunku Abdul Rahman. But they are just playing a waiting game, as far as I can tell. They want to join with Pakatan Harapan to go into the election, and maybe they can get more seats. And if they come out to be the majority among the PKR and the AP and Amanah, then they can put up their own Prime Minister candidate. Unless, of course, the DAP, Amanah, and PKR pull together and they have the lion's share of the parliament seat, then they would, of course, put up their own candidate. But I think Barisan Nasional, or UMNO, is banking on the fact that they could be the bigger party, maybe if they win 50 seats. And so that is, I think, to be their plan. And then we look at PAS. PAS was Parti Islam Malaysia, one time of which I was a member, because I thought that it was a very progressive Islamic party that would solve the problem of race supremacy forever. And they were once, during the time of Barisan Alternative, they were the party of my choice for Malaysia, using Islam as a foundation to actually grow. But now that party has turned totally conservative and only have clerics as their leaders, no more professionals who are outspoken. We have a few, but they are not really those who will challenge the ulama or the cleric. And so I think they are having a very, very conservative Taliban-like understanding of how to run a nation, or at least Iran-like, where you have another level of ulama to overlook what parliament decides, and I don't think that's an appropriate thing to do. So as a Malay party, both UMNO and PAS do not present any progressive ideals of Malay into the future. Then we also have Bersatu as also a Malay-based party, and Amanah. Now with Bersatu, they are nothing more than a party that is always having to be held by Parti Islam Malaysia. They are just a shadow of UMNO. Whatever you say about UMNO, and the Bersatu is the same. Nothing much to be said about them. They have no ideology whatsoever. The ideology is just to get into power by being with a stronger Malay-based party, either UMNO or with definitely at the moment with PAS, because they are a shadow of UMNO. With Amanah, that has a lot of Malay leaders who are progressive Islamists. They could also bring in a new narrative for the Malays, but at the moment I don't see anything being done by them, even though they have NGOs like ABIM and Ikram on their side. But all these three entities are not showing any leadership to actually mitigate issues of Islam and take the narrative of Islam into a more progressive stance. They're not doing that, and this is the sad part about the whole affair. And so that's why I postulate that we may need a new progressive Malay political party, and I'm hoping maybe some of the young leaders like Rafizi Ramli, Nazmi, Shahril, Khairy, as well as one Fayshal and one Saiful, even though these last two is not my favorite politicians, like Shahril and Khairy. They're not someone that I will say to be something that I would prefer. But then politics is politics. You have to take what you get, and then you have to work with what you have. And this is something which I have already learned after 25 years. There is no saying that this is useless, lantak pi lah. I mean, the hell with it, things like that. You cannot say that. Once you say that, then you will no longer be in charge of the narrative. And this way, you need to be like in any situation of war. You need to find some friends. You need to support some things, and then you hope to steer them into a certain direction that you wish to go. And so I'm hoping that these 6 people, young people, even though Khairy may rejoin UMNO and we see Rafizi is still in PKR, but there may come a time when they would say, well, they're not going anywhere within their own political parties. Rafizi have already said so. Nazmi also have admitted. And Khairy, I don't know how he sees himself to be a prime minister or a president of UMNO. There are so many other leaders that have their own camps way ahead of him. People like Khalid Nordin, people like those people that are around Zahid Hamidi to actually be waiting in line for the next leadership. So we see that perhaps that these 6 people, once they see that their route to the leadership is blocked, become something of a fantasy, then maybe they could come out and form. It doesn't have to be a big political party, because with the digital media, you could do a lot of things. We see Rafizi Ramli's viewer numbers and the comments, and also Khairy Jamaluddin being very positive to them. And I think with the digital media, you could actually do wonders with it, and you could actually secure easily 30, 40 seats if you work at a certain focus and actually take the country into a new direction other than this Islamic conservatism, as well as Malay supremacy narrative, which we have been living with for the last 50 to 60 years after the Mahathir era, or during the Mahathir era and after that. So maybe by the time Anwar is no longer in the picture, then we can be set to come into a new era of a progressive Malaysia that is more inclusive in being part of the global community and the human civilization. So that is my hope, and I think that this is a strategy that may be something most Malaysians will be looking for. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, my name is Professor Dr. Muhammad Tajuddin, and I have written a book called Not the Islam I Know. This book is a compilation of many of my writings over the past 15 years with regard to what is called Islamic issues in the country. And the main intention of the book is actually to show that many of the practices, perspectives, values, and actions of most Muslims may not be the same, or is usually not the same as the teachings represented by the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad through the Hadith and the Quran, from my own perspective of understanding it. Now, I hope you would be able to understand Islam a bit better, so that you would differentiate between the practices of Muslims in their political and social context with regards to the differences to the actual teachings of the Prophet Muhammad itself.